Last week's episode we talked about the major milestones that we needed to get past before we could go on the road with full-time RV travel with our two crazy dogs. During the time we were in process of navigating through these milestones, we had two mini vacations that we took. The first trip was just 6 weeks after Chris's kidney donation surgery. We were headed to Hawaii with a one-day stop in Fort Collins, Colorado to see our grandson Jack's first day of kindergarten. It took a little bit of strategy for us to leave Jack there for his first day, so Jessica and I slipped out while Grandma was playing with Jack, and then she worked her magic so that she could slip out, and we spent the day in Old Town Fort Collins before we went back and picked Jack up. Give them a try. After Jack's first day of school, we visited a little bit and then we rushed off to the airport to catch our flight to Hawaii. And just a few moments, 10 minutes before we boarded the plane to go to Hawaii, we got an alert on my phone. And basically the alert said, we may be able to reschedule our flight at no charge due to severe weather in Hawaii. So we went to the Weather Channel and looked, and sure enough, Hurricane Lane, which originally was predicted to miss the islands by a few hundred miles, were now on a direct path towards the Big Island. And that meant a whole lot of rain for Maui. So we discussed it for a few minutes and realized that even if the hurricane changed course and missed the islands, it would probably rain all 5 days that we're going to be there. So we canceled the trip and decided to stay in Colorado for one more day. So the next day we went to a nifty little pizza joint in Old Town Fort Collins again, and then we headed up to Horsetooth Canyon to do some hiking. It was a nice hike, but there wasn't much water this time of year coming through the falls. It was basically just a trickle, but still we enjoyed the hike. The best thing about the hike for me was seeing Chris back to normal after her surgery, or almost back to normal. She still had some discomfort with tight-fitting clothing. However, you really couldn't tell that she had just recently had a major surgery on that, I think it was about a 3-mile round-trip hike. Another trip a few weeks later was to Washington State to visit Chris's father and go to a car show.
We are out in Washougal, or just a little bit east of Washougal, Washington. Now her dad actually lives here. It's right on the Washougal River. It's just pristine and beautiful, relaxing. When we first met, we spent quite a bit of time on vacation after we moved to Colorado and such, so it's just a great place to be. One of the things that we kind of joke around about is the cabin is smaller than the shop or the garage for Charlie's, my father-in-law's, classic cars. Wait until you see this view out the front. What a view. Just sitting right on the river. Right now the river is low in the summertime. In the fall and spring, especially in the springtime when all the snow melt run off of Mount Hood, you will have raging waters through here. One of the best things about being out here is the peacefulness and this very quietness of the property. So there are a few neighbors, but they're all a few hundred yards away, and most of the time they don't live out here. So they just come out on weekends, during holidays and stuff like that. So it's normally very, very quiet. What you'll really hear is the sound of the river.
So we're on our way to Long Beach, Washington. We're driving a 1964 Ford Galaxy.
Hey, we're in Long Beach, Washington. Chris and I came here for really our first weekend vacation back in the 90s.
My favorite moment of the car show was when we saw this little girl wearing kind of like a cheerleader outfit, but on the back of the shirt it mentioned that, I think it was her father or grandfather, was in desperate need of a kidney transplant. What made this special, of course, was the recent kidney transplant that Chris had donated her kidney to her cousin Linda, and her cousin Linda and Linda's husband Ted had came to the car show, and this was really the first time that we had seen them since the surgery about 8 weeks prior. Linda and Chris then found this gentleman who was waiting on the list for a kidney transplant and had a conversation for about 10 minutes. Witnessing this conversation between a donor, a recipient, and someone who was on the list to be a recipient was intriguing and also somewhat emotional. It made me quite proud of my wife for the special gift that she had given up for her cousin.
Did you? How you feeling?
And she was like,
Wow,
how long?
that's pretty cool.
Maybe 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were like in and out, huh?
Well, I was there for 5 days.
Did you? Where did you have it done at?
UC Davis in California.
Uh huh. Yeah, I'm on the list here at Oregon, OHSU.
I think this is a little shorter than California. You can do it at night. During the day, it can be a hassle because, like, for example, while you're here,
Right.
you'd have to go find a clean place, like maybe you can get it clean enough or somewhere, and you'd have to do dialysis there.
Stroker 60 over with Edelbrock. It's got a sharp intake with tri-power, Stromberg 97.
It sure does.
Just put a new chrome beam under the front.
Well, we didn't do a little section over there. We saw everything else, and then we walked over to the beach and back. Did a little skinny dipping.
Another fun moment, the 33 Ford that Charlie was driving actually broke down right after the show when we were driving back towards the main area of Long Beach. There was all kinds of people lining the streets watching the cars cruise in, and one of the guys across the street happened to be a 72-year-old hot rod engine builder. So he came over with his tools, and it was quite enjoyable to watch these old dudes with supreme patience work on this car. And it turns out there was a part in the car when Charlie bought it, and it turned out that was the module. So if you get a car and it's got a part in the glove box, don't take the part out.
We went to the right place. There's the junk. That's why I never took those out of the glove box.
So make sure you buy another one
I know.
and put it in the glove box.
And it looks like this.
Yeah.
We're going to pause for now and look for some upgrades to the trailer before we head out on full-time travel in just a couple of months.